Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Michael Knight, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Welcome to Beyond the Night, brought to you by the GCRN and Audible.com. I am one of your hosts, TFJ Mike, and joining me is Dion the Music Man. Hello.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm good. We finally got the hot water issue resolved.
Oh, yay.
Just after that, yeah, I need to go on a diet because during sleep last week, when I was sleeping, I must have rolled over the wrong way, and the weight of me rolling over, because I'm 6'1", 400, 450, something like that, I don't know. The weight of me rolling over on the right side of my bed, essentially just the box spring just said, nope, sorry.
Oh,
and it went boom, the whole right side of the bed, because the box spring wood broke. It essentially splintered. So for about up until today, as we're recording this, I got a new box spring today, so it's all well and good now. But from for the past week and a half, I felt like I've been sleeping on a cliff. Because on the left side of the bed, you have to get all the way up there to make sure you're not going to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
How'd that happen?
That's probably more information that people really want to know. Today we're going to be going Beyond the Night and reviewing the final 3 episodes from Knight Rider Classic Season 1. Hit the turbo boost, KITT.
You know, I don't like you. Somebody's declared war on an alliance of local truckers down here.
This is Terry the Tiger. I've got a 1033.
What's a 1033?
Call for help, buddy.
Last thing this town needs is outside agitation.
First up today, we've got, we're going to talk about some night moves. Michael tries to catch hijackers who are knocking off shipments carried by independent truckers. Oh, I remember this damn episode. So the plot of this one is that truckers are getting hijacked and Michael must stop them. But the sabotage comes from a friend. Okay. Okay, Fast and the Furious. Give Knight Rider some money, damn it. Swear to God. As soon as I saw this episode, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the Fast and the Furious from 2001.
Yeah.
So, but I know he mentioned it last week, and I don't remember. I got to go back and rewatch last week's episodes, I guess, because my note for the plot of this one was, it seemed to me like this was the first time we saw the classic semi, the black and gold.
The black and gold, yes.
Yeah. With the night chess piece.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn we said last week that there was an episode last week where we thought it was.
I think there was one of the episodes where we did say that, but I think this is the official episode where we did see that.
Yeah, where we did see the full-on thing. What is the deal with a lot of these 80s actresses?
Who are you speaking of in particular?
Terry.
She was hot.
Terry was not hot.
Yes, she was. Maybe not in the face department, but you know.
That's kind of the point. I mean, that yeah, and I get the whole I'm a tomboy thing and this that and the, I get that, but I don't know. The plot overall, like I said, it's essentially, you know, Fast and the Furious with KITT.
Kind of like a precursor.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's the whole thing of you have to, these truckers are getting knocked off, and it's from a family friend who is a rival trucker, and a rival trucking company, and this and that. It's just, I know people are probably going to get sick of me and you and whoever else if we ever have a guest on the show, which we probably won't. But I know people are going to get sick of us saying this, but this is a cliched classic 80s plot line of, the best friend did it, or the girlfriend. It just, I didn't feel like where I have, and I think I've said this before, where I personally have the most connection to this show is episodes where shit happens to the main characters. Everything
I agree, yeah, because everything else just kind of goes out the window.
Everything else is a filler episode.
Everything kind of goes out the window. Everything else goes out the window.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you have any thoughts on the overall plot?
No, this one's kind of, if you're interested, great, watch it. If you're not, turn your channel or the DVD off or go to the next episode.
I triple dog dare anyone to watch this episode and watch the Fast and the Furious film, at least the first scene of the Fast and the Furious film, the very first film from 2001. Watch them side by side and tell me that they're not the same damn thing. All right, let's turn the scanners on here. KITT can move anything. Hey, he can't do that. He moves the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Night. Now that's a cold name. Oh god, I'm gonna have so much fun editing this episode with KITT's trucker speak. Oh my god. Sheriff, the dang car moved by itself. I love how they make the music be all epic.
Yeah.
That's a separate note, actually. The whole sheriff thing is like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But I do love how Don makes the music be all epic and everything when people are sneaking up on KITT. Yet when they attack the car, there is then comical music to back the scene.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious. So funny. I've seen KITT turbo boost through a lot of stuff, and it's been really cool, and it's been freaking awesome, but never has a turbo boost ever really shocked me. This one shocked me. Wow. Was that a turbo boost or what? Straight through the ass end of the van. KITT essentially cut the van in half.
Yeah, that was like, where did that come from, and who dreamed up that stunt?
Yeah. I believe I'm remembering an episode that we'll get to at some point. I forget when or where, but this will not be the last time that KITT has the CB speak. Oh, I know what it is. I know exactly when it is now. It's not really CB speak, but it's along those lines, and it's in JYD in season 3. So we'll get to that.
That's right.
To it. Yeah. Overall, an enjoyable episode to watch, even though the plot sucks. I did really enjoy the whole thing of really an action-based episode. Action episode without an actual story, which I really did enjoy about it. What about you? What are your good points for this one?
Michael teaching KITT CB lingo. And KITT actually kind of getting to enjoy the KITT getting interested in the CB lingo, and one of my favorite lines from him is CB, or what is it? Trucker shorthand brutalizes my vocabulary banks. So
and then by the end of the episode, he has fully embraced
yes,
it.
he's fully embracing the episode. I love that. And that was just great. That was awesome. It was because at first he didn't really want to have anything to do with it. He's like, oh,
Right.
no. And then near the end of the at the end of the episode, he's just completely enthralled in it. He can't get away from it. So I thought those were great highlights of the episode. That was awesome.
What I'm finding about rewatching this series is how much range. I know William Daniels is an amazing actor. He just is.
God, yes.
But how much range he has as KITT. You've got the CV speak. Now, I don't know. I'm going to have to research this for when we get to it in season 4. But Killer KITT, was that his voice?
That was his voice with a voice changer.
Right, with a vocoder. Right. Okay, good deal. I was going to say because
I ain't your pal.
Yeah,
we'll get to that later. But yes, that was his voice with a voice changer.
Right, but my point here is that it has his vocal range and his emotion, and even the Alien episode that we covered with, Hello Earth. It just the way that William changes his tones. Like, okay, sure, we know that when he's in brain mode, I guess you could say, or brainiac mode. Where he's, where Michael, you know what the odds are on that?
Scientific stuff.
Yeah, scientific gobbledygook. But I absolutely love that about William Daniels in this role, and I know that I believe it's been said that he didn't want to be known as the voice of a talking car.
No, he did not. But everybody knows him from that show.
I know, and I don't. If we ever get to interview him, which I'm hoping we will at some point, we have to ask him about why he didn't want to be known as that. Because
I read in an interview they asked him about that, and they said that he would agree to do it, but only if his name was not put in the credits as the voice of a car. He would agree to do the show.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here.
It will enable you to monitor the location of any AIT truck with a CB radio.
No kidding. That should give KITT a chance to brush up on his trucker lingo.
Trucker shorthand brutalizes my vocabulary banks.
So let's turn the scanners off. I only have one negative to this, which I think if it wasn't in there, it wouldn't have made the episode that much. It wouldn't have made the episode that much of a difference if it wasn't there. So the middleman, that third person that ended up getting killed,
yes,
the third guy, was just unwanted competition. It seems like a lame red herring. It seems like something that if that part of it wasn't there and you still kept the main aspects of the plot, it would be the episode would have been fine.
That's my only nitpick for Scanners Off. That same thing.
Yeah. I mean, because as we said in Scanners On, this essentially is a full-on action-centric episode with light-on actual story, and that's fine because we all love, the action and stuff like that. But at the same time, we do love a story. So yeah, I mean, that whole part could have been dropped, and this episode would have still been pretty damn decent.
Yeah. That like I said, the note that you're putting in here for Scanners Off, when I watched this episode again, that was my only nitpick for Scanners Off was this note. The third person, just it didn't need to be there.
Yeah,
really, it didn't need to be there. So other than that, everything else was fine.
We're gonna move on to the next episode.
There's nobody grabbing that. Did you see that? Hold it together, okay, Armand?
Whoever's stealing your software is doing it from the inside.
There's a strange woman. She's following me around.
She's even taking pictures of me. Julian is a devious little worm. I wouldn't put anything past him.
He may have been fooling around with her, but he didn't kill her.
Now, there's one road out of this dump, and if I see either one of you on it, the lady dies.
Let's get him, buddy.
Up next is Nobody Does It Better. Hey, isn't that a
Carly Simon song?
Carly Simon song? Yeah, I was trying to think of the name. Yeah. Michael contends with interference from an overzealous private eye, played by Gail Edwards, while he tries to discover who's stealing computer software secrets. Night of the Phoenix Part 3. Nah, not really.
No.
But
not even close.
I have to say, when watching this episode, it really drew me in, because they start this episode like they've never started a Knight Rider episode. Because I do have a couple of plot notes here. We start with a criminal element at work! Exclamation point. Whoa, that ain't no criminal, or is it? Holy, what the hell? Because at first, when you see the guy in the ski mask, you see him sneaking around, you don't think about, it's just a common criminal breaking in somewhere, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then there's that, however tall Hoff is, and you see his face through the ski. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Seriously, what the hell? But I really did, I thought all the Cloak and Dagger stuff made for a really, really interesting episode. And kind of I guess you could say an 80s jump the shark moment is, I think it was the private eye chick that essentially screamed when she found the woman dead.
Yeah,
the other one,
she did.
I was like, oh, it's horrible. So yeah, did you have any notes on the plot of this one?
No, the plot, you're right, kind of a small indentation of Night of the Phoenix, but not as big.
Well, I mean, just by, the computer chip thing, I mean, that's just a little thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
that,
No,
I'm not saying that this is a complete,
Yeah.
they're borrowing from Night of the Phoenix. I'm not saying that at all, but it's a small dent, meaning, they're talking about computer software, whereas Night of the Phoenix dealt with a computer chip and, that type of thing. But the whole plot of this show, or not the show, but this episode anyway, was one investigator playing against the other here.
Yeah.
You had somebody who was framed for stealing software. Not to mention this guy was very, very nervous. Julian Groves was very, very nervous. And just the whole thing of private eye against private eye, in a matter of speaking. You have the Foundation for Law and Government and then another private organization who we don't even find out who she works for. So that very, very high tension.
No. She was a private eye, like you go out and you get your PI license. I mean, she was a private, and you think of, okay, I know that there's a difference, listeners, so don't, crucify me for this reference here. I know there's a difference between a private investigator and a bounty hunter, but think of Dog the Bounty Hunter. Went out, they got their training, they got this, they got that, right. They are deputized, right. For the law. Same thing with PIs. She was her own private investigator. She wasn't reporting to anybody. The other guy, I think, was reporting to somebody. The guy that hit Michael in her place of business. Remember? The guy that attacked.
Yeah.
He was working for someone else that I don't think we really find out who he was working for.
No.
But the Gail Simone character was her own independent.
I think Gail Simone's character was hired by Julian's wife, if you remember.
Right, she was. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Michael just kept getting in her way, but
or vice versa. But no, I really dug this. A lot of these types of television shows, episodes, movies, anything in the visual medium that that upfront shows you a CEO of a company at the very beginning that seems like you think in the back of your mind, hey, he's the dude. You know, he's the guy that, you know what I mean? But I didn't really catch it until, like, you know, I didn't really almost catch up to it until almost the end, and that's one of the reasons why I really
liked
enjoyed
this episode for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons, outside of the solely continuity character-based episodes, why I can look at an episode of Knight Rider like Nobody Does It Better and say, this was a really damn good episode because it told a great story, it had great action.
And it didn't bore you to death.
And it didn't want to make you rip your friggin' ears off from hearing some dumb blonde soap opera bitch. See, I worked around without having to say the name of the episode or the name of the character.
Hey, yes, that was great. I hate to tell you, though, we will see her again.
Fuck.
Well, you're never too old for video games.
So let's turn the scanners on. This is, again, with any 80s icon, whether that be Michael Knight, David Hasselhoff, whether that be John McClane, Die Hard, Bruce Willis, whether that be Marty McFly, Back to the Future, any 80s icon that embraces some sort of geeky culture is just simply amazing to me.
They are part of the gods.
Well, no, the reason why I'm saying this is because of one line that Michael Knight has in this episode, and we will probably be using it at somewhere in here. You're never too old for video games. Ain't that the damn truth?
Oh, yes. Oh. Michael's playing video games while KITT is driving.
Yeah. KITT. Yes, Michael? Just keep driving. The turbo boost in this, right before Julian explains the plot, wasn't that a stock turbo boost shot?
I believe it was.
I think it was. Again, I'm not saying that I don't. I'm not. I put it in Scanners On because I liked it. I thought it was interesting, awesome. And I like catching. Well, I like catching in the episodes where the title sequence gets the stock footage from,
right?
Or or the title shot. So that's that's pretty much And as I already said, this episode has a great story, a great plot. I mean that's pretty much all I wrote down. So what do you have for good parts about this one?
Great story, great plot. The turbo boost scene was great. Like you said, it was. I believe that was from the stock footage that they used it from. And what was kind of funny is we get to see Julian hyperventilating in KITT. Just, what are you doing? Hang on. Yeah. And it's just, he's freaking out while, Michael counts to 3 and you see him turbo boost and things like that. And it was just awesome.
It was just so very awesome. So let's turn the scanners off. I have 3, actually, surprisingly, even though I love this episode. Why does Michael always get involved with troubled women? It's one of two things with him. It's either fast and loose women who want to jump his bones, or troubled women that just are no good. So weird. This is a note to the I forget what her name is. The PI there. The whole point of being a private investigator is to observe and surveil, not just bust in taking pictures. That whole the scene
where she finds the dead body.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
That was one of my notes for Scanners Off.
Yeah.
So you want to share that?
Yeah, I mean that was just so stupid. It's just so stupid. The CEO double cross, really? That's the story.
Was not. I think if you really watched this episode, you were going to tell that somebody was going to double cross somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. What about you? What did you have for Scanners Off besides the one that we shared?
That we shared, the CEO double cross, like you said, and probably the chemistry between Michael and the Private Eye. I understand that, it's a Private Eye thing and it's a flag thing. It seems that if an organization such as the Foundation for Law and Government and police are involved in the same case, and you're talking to somebody who is hired from, such as Michael Knight, from the Foundation for Law and Government, there seems to be a very, very high hostility level.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Now that you mention it.
Did you ever think of that?
It's been in the back of my mind, but normally those episodes, with the exception of a couple, normally those episodes are the cops or the sheriff or whoever, the judge, they're usually corrupt. But now that you think about it, if you look at a nice and decent, not a nice and decent little town. What the hell's the other one? The pig-headed sheriff in
Good Day at White Rock. Good Day at White Rock.
Yeah, Good Day at White Rock.
Yeah.
He wasn't corrupt. He was just blind to what was going on.
Yeah, he didn't. He was like a peace officer, and he didn't really want to.
Yeah. But at the same time, I can kind of see why law enforcement, whether it be police or CIA or lawyers or whoever, like official governmental bodies, I can see why they would be suspicious. And what's the other one? The one with Marty. Oh God, we just talked about
a plush ride. No,
not a plush ride. Yes, the one
final verdict.
Yeah. There you go. The final verdict. I understand why that they actually, why the governmental bodies would have issues with flag.
That police officer had some serious issues with Mr. Michael Knight there.
Well, right, but the other thing is, you got to think about this though. Michael Knight has only been alive for a year, 2 years. Think about that though.
True.
Remember?
True. Because before Michael Knight, he was Michael Long, and he was a police officer.
And and they even say in Night of the Phoenix, up until 3 months ago, Michael Knight didn't exist. So that's why I think we're going to see a lot of that with the law enforcement and stuff. Now there are episodes like A Plush Ride where Devin will come in with the police and they'll say, "Michael, do you need any assistance?" "No, just some privacy."
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that as well.
But I just thought of that. It was like, okay, every time the flag or, the flag and police meet up, if Michael Knight and the police officers meet up with each other, there is some very high hostility.
Yeah, there is. Pretty much. Like we said, overall, this episode was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
There's not really, there are a few nitpicks.
Nothing huge.
Yeah, nothing huge. So we're going to move on.
Having fun now?
Yeah.
What kind of car is this?
I want to watch you tell Tiny how sorry you are because you wasted his brother.
I'll get you! I'm facing a murder charge here.
I'd help you if I could.
You come back to Long Pine and testify on my behalf, and I'll help you get your daughter back.
And finally, up today, we give our short notice.
Literally.
After Michael unintentionally kills a cycle gang member, the only witness, played by Robin Curtis, insists that he recover her kidnapped child before she will help him. Okay, before we get into the rest of the plot, everything else like this, if you really look at this episode, we were talking last week. Last week you asked me if I thought White Bird would fit after Night of the Phoenix, and we had that whole discussion.
I did. I remember.
If you took episode 22 Short Notice and took episode 19 White Bird and flip-flopped them, it would have made a hell of a lot more sense because you have, a nice and decent little town, Chariot of Gold. If you had short notice there, that would have been fine. Night moves, nobody does it better. And then Whitebird. Making Whitebird the season finale would have been the best move for the producers and the creators and everything else, because short notice essentially it's not a season finale. It's not a season closer. It's a regular.
It's just a regular episode that kind of falls in play with the rest of them, and you would think Whitebird would have kind of said, "All right, this is how we're going to end season 1." We get to see a little more of Michael's past, and this is how we're going to close it out. And I know we'll talk about this again later on down the line for season 4.
Not only season 4, I don't think. Let me look here really quickly. Let's see. Was it just season 4? No, it's season 2 ends on Big Iron. Michael and Kit's investigation into the theft of heavy equipment from a financially strapped contractor. Season 2 did it. And season 3 did it. Season 3 ended with Circus Nights.
That's right, yeah.
Again, if you... Okay. Here's... And I know we should probably save this because we're supposed to be here talking about Short Notice, but since Short Notice is the season 1 finale, here's how I see the 4 seasons of the classic show. Season 1 should have ended with Whitebird. Season 2, if I was really choosing here, should have ended with the Goliath Returns 2-parter.
Yay! I'm glad somebody else felt that way.
Yep. Should have ended with the Goliath Returns 2-parter. Right. The second 2-parter. Right. Season 3, if you flip-flop Circus Nights and Junkyard Dog. Because Junkyard Dog was essentially where KITT had to be rebuilt after falling in the acid. Right. And then, of course, series finale should have been Scent of Roses. So, yeah, that's why I said,
bring all this up again.
Oh, of course we will. But
I understand. I'm actually glad you're thinking the same way I'm thinking for these seasons, because I'm like, season 2 should have had the second Goliath 2-parter, season 3, the episode you just mentioned, Junkyard Dog, and then season 4, The Scent of Roses. So,
as far as getting back to Short Notice here, it was a weird episode. It was a weird ass episode.
Okay, but weird.
Yeah. It was really weird. I didn't care for it as the season ender. The only part of the episode I really liked was when they were in the little town there, trying to get away from the bad guys.
Yeah.
At the very end. That's really the plot is just so cliched. Essentially,
Natalie was cute.
Huh?
Natalie was cute.
The
little girl.
The mother?
The little girl.
Oh, the little girl. Yeah. She was. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, she was. The little girl was cute.
The girl was cute because, she's sitting there in KITT, and...
This is where that whole thing of last week where I said, the kids and the other guests, the other people that ride in KITT, this is where I said about the secrets. Mm-hmm. Because this is where, KITT's like, let's just keep it a secret. That was good. But the whole thing with the mother of, I'm not going to clear you until I get my daughter.
I found that to be so bogus, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
No.
So let's turn the scanners on. What do you got?
Well, there's a couple of notes that I wrote down, and one of them is when Michael and the mother, Nicole, leave Natalie inside KITT, and Natalie's looking around and she's like, wow. And she's talking about the car. She's talking about KITT and everything, and she's like, well, no other car does this. And, you hear Natalie say, other cars say, please close the door, and your door is ajar, and what else can you do? And you see these huge eyes, and she's like, you have eyes, wow. And she's like, what else can you do? And so, KITT's kind of showing off a little bit. And then the other part I like is, do you talk? And I found this to be funny from William Daniels. Not Michael, I'm sorry, Natalie, cars can't talk. I found that to be funny. The second note I have written down was when they go into the town and Michael leans in and says, you want something? And she goes, yeah, ice cream. He's like, ice cream. One ice cream. She's like, two. And Michael's like, two. And Natalie's like, please. And she's like,
Yeah.
He's like, two. So then, of course, then you hear KITT saying, my, what big tonsils you have. Natalie responds with, I don't think you're very funny. And KITT's like, Natalie, are you mad at me? Yes, can't you tell? And KITT's like, I most certainly can. Will you tell me why? And of course, Natalie's explaining the whole thing of keeping a secret and things like that. And KITT getting her to understand that sometimes it's hard to talk in front of grown-ups. And I just think that at least those two notes there. And actually the third note I have, the final note, is when KITT gets, KITT takes Natalie for a ride back to Devon by herself. Those were my three notes there, and those were just cute moments in the episode for me.
Yeah, they were. I have often wondered if now this is really going to come into play. I actually put it in next week's episode post, but I screen grabbed the image where Michael does the whole turbo boost thing, and he is pushed back into the seat. And my note is, now I have often wondered if that was just a stunt image, or if the boost really does throw Michael back in the seat. Meaning, if, you hit the turbo boost, the car goes, and maybe the seat automatically reacts, or if that's, David being in the seat himself and him doing the reaction.
It's very possible.
I've often wondered that if that seat, when the turbo boost button is hit, I've often wondered if that driver's seat is a stunt seat. I'm not really sure. If any of the listeners that are huge Knight Rider fans want to write in and let us know, feedback at geekcastradio.com. It's just one of those things where it didn't strike me weird. I love when Michael does that, because there were times, when as a kid, when I was riding in my mom's car or whatever else, and we sped up really fast, I would do that myself.
Yeah,
so,
I did it too.
Yeah. I found this really funny. This is the only reason why it's a good note. Michael is heading to Arizona. Why is Sweet Home Alabama playing on the radio?
Oh, yes.
And I love, and I found hilarious that when he has to save Nicole one of the times, he picks her up like a rag doll and throws her over his shoulder. Whether a young boy or a young girl, all kids have fun in KITT.
Yes, they do.
And then the end, I absolutely love the end. Again, it had a real Old West feeling. It's a jousting of cars, or an Old West showdown. I love KITT versus the white car. That was kind of cool.
I loved the ending scene where you see the guy with the gun. I don't remember his name, but the guy, the guy with the gun, he throws it down.
Yeah.
And they're Michael's advancing towards the guy, and they, get ready. They're getting ready to fight, basically.
Yeah.
I find it funny that. Well, I find it funny and hilarious. Michael gets the first swing before the guy can even react. It's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Now, is this? There was an episode, we may have already covered it in a past podcast episode. Huh?
No, what? What now?
No, I'm asking. We might have already covered the episode that this happens in, but wasn't there another episode where Michael says to one of the bad guys, "Normally I let you swing first, or I wait until you swing first"?
He says, "Normally I let you swing first, but
in your case, I'll make an exception."
No, he doesn't say this case I won't make an exception. That was in Whitebird when Stevie was in the car, and
that's right.
Yeah, and he says, "Normally I wait."
Okay, yeah, it was last week. Yeah,
yeah.
These episodes are starting to run together. we're only one season down of this show, and a lot of the lines and a lot of the episodes, unless it's that straightforward continuity bits, a lot of the regular lines are starting to run together.
You noticed that too? Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I don't have to feel that way then.
No naps.
Perish the thought.
So let's turn the scanners off. I only have two, actually. For a second there, I was going to say, you mean to tell me that woman slept through... Oh, yes. When they're in the hotel and the bikers come along and start shooting the place up, I thought Nicole was still there. And my note is, you mean to tell me that she slept through 2 loud gunshots, but she had already left. She had already ran away.
Yeah, that was my note too, actually.
Right, yeah. I was like, wait a second, that's not gonna... There's no way in hell anyone can sleep through a gunshot.
No, especially since they're that loud.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so, again, just like the last episode we talked about, Nobody Does It Better, where there was there was that whole one, or not Nobody Does It Better, the episode before that.
Night Moves.
Not Night Moves. There's the whole thing of you have a plot point that really doesn't. It's just added in there as a red herring with the third guy. Same thing here. The bikers show up to her father's house, and the maid is shown letting them in. Maid is never seen again. Does the maid die? Do they kill her? She was taken by the bad guys, yet they never show her again.
Actually, she was shown twice.
I don't remember seeing her at the end of the episode.
Not at the end of the episode.
That's
what
I'm saying. She was shown once when Michael and Nicole went to her father. She was shown then, and she was shown again when the bikers showed up to the house looking for Nicole.
She was also shown, and you had already mentioned this, but when the scene before he goes to Arizona to track her down.
Right, but what I'm saying is, we see the maid once,
right? Okay,
when we first have interactions at the father's house. Mm-hmm. We see her again briefly when she's
taken hostage.
No, before that.
Oh.
We see her again briefly when it's like right after Michael and Nicole leave or something. Yes. And then we see her when she's taken hostage.
Yeah.
After she's taken hostage, we never see her again.
That's right.
So what the hell happened to the maid? Did she die?
There's no continuity with that.
No, not at all. What do you got for low moments in this one?
Low moments would be, why would Michael kill a motorcycle gang member?
Well, no, that's really not. I don't really. I mean, I see where you're coming from there, but the thing of it is if you look at that beginning scene again, the biker did break into his hotel room. They struggled with the gun,
and it went off.
So I mean, it wasn't like, I have to build Goliath. Ooh, there's a cameraman that's going to see me. Bang with my gun cane. There's a little preview for season 2, people. It's not like that. It was, a struggle and the gun went off.
I couldn't really tell if, I knew there was a break, but I didn't know if somebody had the gun and maybe David.
The bad guy the biker had the gun. They struggled and it went off and it killed him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Michael was standing on a grassy knoll with a sniper's rifle.
Well, and even he says, if I don't take care of this, they're gonna, the police are gonna look through my past with a magnifying glass.
Well, right, but he's saying that because it was, it was self-defense. It wasn't saying he wasn't saying that in the meaning of, oh my God, I murdered somebody. Right. That it was essentially
self-defense because
exactly.
Nobody knows who Michael Knight is except for Flag.
Yeah, and Stevie.
Well, yeah.
So
there you go.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to head over to some commercials and some other interesting audio from this episode, because now that you have brought up your whole enjoyment of the Natalie scenes with KITT in short notice, I have to now go back and grab all that audio. Thanks, Gritty. Work for me, you bastard.
Oh, you know what? You love editing this podcast. You bastard.
All right, so we're going to head to a commercial break, and we'll be back to close the show.
KITT? Yes? Shut up.
Welcome to a collaboration between the Geekcast Radio Network and the Pop Culture Network. This is From the Command Center, the podcast. I am your host, Steve Joe and Mike from the GCRN, and joining me is Zordon himself. Scotty Cash.
That's right, Scotty Cash from the Pop Culture Network, and today we're introducing you to the audio version of From the Command Center, the podcast that will entail our intake on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the episodes, the seasons, and all that other good stuff.
Movie Week in Review is the Geekcast Radio Network's weekly movie podcast. Steve and Mike take a look back on their favorite films and give you their thoughts. They also bring in co-hosts at times. If you are a movie buff, listen to M-Wire only on GeekCastRadio.com. Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, GeekCastRadio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on GeekCastRadio.com.
Don't let anybody steal this car, okay?
Okay, I won't.
Take care of it, kid.
Wow, you have such big eyes. They are eyes. What else can you do? Wow. My mom's car won't do any of this stuff. What else can you do? Can you talk?
Natalie, you know cars can't talk.
Some cars do. They say, please close the door. And you talked. Didn't you? You did. What's your name?
KITT. It's short for Knight Industries 2000.
Wait till I tell my mom.
Natalie, let's keep it a secret.
Why?
Just for fun.
That's no fun.
Try it, just for me.
Guess what?
What, honey?
I know a secret.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
You know how we talked about doing a podcast? Well, I have some ideas run past you.
Yeah, what do you got?
I thought we should base it on comics.
Well, there's thousands of podcasts about comics. You kind of want to narrow it down a bit.
Well, what about Star Wars?
Still, there's a ton of those out there. What else you got?
We could always do G.I. Joe comics.
There's still a ton of those out there.
What about the 80s franchises?
There's already a few of those as well.
Then let's forget about comics. Let's focus on toys and action figures.
Dude, then we're back to thousands of podcasts.
Well, is anyone covering all those things I mentioned in one podcast?
No one would be crazy enough to do that.
Then that's what we'll do.
You serious?
Yep. Come and listen to Star Joe's podcast. You can find us at starjoes.com or find us on iTunes.
Yeah, we cover comics, TV shows, and movies based on Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and all your 80s favorite franchises.
And don't forget about the toys.
How could we forget about the toys? We also do toy reviews to help you decide what to add to your collection.
So come listen to Star Joe's, where we hold nothing back, provide quality entertainment, and remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
Yo, Joe!
KITT. Yes, Michael. Just keep driving.
For you, the listeners of Beyond the Night, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Use audibletrial.com/geekcastradio. All right, final thoughts on today's episodes.
Wow, Night Moves, just here. You can watch it, but don't expect any huge twists out of it.
Yeah. What would you rank it?
What would I rank it? I would rank it 2 out of 5. Nobody does it better. Yes, okay, it's a short dent of Night of the Phoenix, but not by much.
Right. I mean, it's just, like I said in the episode, it just has the little computer.
Right. It talks about the computer stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's
about
only,
it.
Yeah.
That's the only reference we see. I would give that a 3.5. And wow, this last episode, it's hard to rank. I'll be very honest, because you have some heart in this one.
Yeah.
So I guess even though the episode probably depending on rankings would get a 1, depending on who was listening to this and their from the listener's point of view, I would have to give it a 5 because there is some heart in this.
Yeah.
So
for me, oh boy, that first episode, Night Moves. Night Moves gets a 1.
Ooh.
The
really?
whole thing. Yeah. The whole thing with it just no.
The whole trucking thing.
Yeah, and it's a whole plot thing and everything else.
You should have brought this up earlier, and it just made me think. Devin again, once again, has his moment. He has his moment in the spotlight.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't think of that until now. So, but you gave that one a 1, huh?
Yeah, I didn't really care for it all that much.
What about Nobody Does It Better?
I give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought the whole thing of the mystery and the intrigue was pretty awesome. So I would give that a 4. As far as short notice as a season finale, I give it a 1. As a regular episode. Mm-hmm. I can give it a 5 because of the heart that it does have.
Yeah, I agree with you there. As a season finale, I give it a 1, but as the heart part of that, I would give it a 5.
Yeah. Yep. Now, before we close out, before we give out any information or anything else like that, something I found out about a little bit too late. I wish I knew about this at the time. From October 5th to the 7th, 2012, at Universal City, California, there was Knight Rider Reunion.
Ooh.
It was a convention type thing.
In California?
Yep. And
wonder who showed
up. The only reason why I found out about it was...
Wonder who showed up.
Well, I'm going to go through that here in a second.
Okay.
The only reason why I found out about that is because of a video promotion that one of the people on YouTube and Facebook that I follow, Randall Nigg, he does the Transformers animation videos and stuff like that. He also did one for this and everything else. Now, after I saw the video of Randall's, I went on to KnightRiderReunion.com, and I looked at the guest list. You're not going to believe this. Peter Parros.
Yay!
Rebecca Holden.
Even better, yay!
Michael Sheff, who was the original KITT designer.
Yeah.
Ron Martinez, who was a producer on the show. Jeff Osterhage.
Don't know the name.
You will. Think KITT versus Carr. He played John Stanton.
I'll be damned.
Yep. Musician-composer Don Peake. The Knight Rider historians A.J. Palmgren and Joe Huff, who wrote the unofficial... Joe Huff IV, who wrote the official, the unofficial
Knight Rider's Guide. Yeah, I haven't read that yet. I'd love to.
Now get this, okay? You got musician-composer Don Peake. You've got the Knight Rider historians, and then the very next person. I don't know how this convention went off without a hitch. Stu Phillips, musician-composer.
Oh wow! Makes you wonder if those two ever spoke to each other. Yeah. It really does.
Richard Anderson, who played Dr. Ralph Wesley, I don't remember him. Now, I'm surprised that they haven't, since the convention is over, I'm surprised the website hasn't updated these, but there's producer, writer, surprise guest, which it does not show a list. You've got Burton Aramis, who was a producer writer. You've got Louis Race, who was an assistant director. Daphne Ashbrook, who was Catherine Granger. I don't remember that role. I'm sure we'll find out.
I remember her.
Where is she from?
She is in. I don't remember the episode, but we will cover it. She was Catherine Granger. She was the one in season 2 about the locket.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now you want to talk about bringing in, all generations of Knight Rider. Carmen Argesiano, Russell Maddock from 2000.
Oh dear God!
And the director from 2000, Alan J. Levy. Sandra Curry, who played Francesca Morgan.
Yeah, Francesca,
whatever.
But it's Francesca.
Terry James, who is get this. Terry James, who is Hasselhoff's stunt double. Fireball Tim, who is the Hollywood car designer, and it has 2 other mystery guests, and it doesn't have a classification for them. Mm-hmm. As soon as we get done recording this episode of the podcast, or whenever, I am going to be emailing whoever controls this website and asking them who these mystery guests are, because I want to know who else was there.
I want to know if Patricia ever showed.
If they can get Stu and Don together and the place doesn't explode,
yeah,
I'm sure. And these are people from all aspects, and these other special guests that aren't shown on the website could be, what is it, 1 or 2 slots? How many slots was it? It was, there was 1 slot, producer, writer. That could have been someone from Knight Rider 2008. We don't know. So that's why I am going to contact the webmaster or the people in charge of this website and find out.
I wonder if Glenn went too.
I'm going to email.
That'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, it would be. You want to remind people of your other love?
Yeah, my other love was broadcasting, and as a matter of fact, folks, you get a double dose of me this weekend. So either tune in or tune the hell out. There you go. But it is on
Everybody run!
Let's just say this: I do a better job than he does. Okay.
Fuck you.
www.sky106.net is our website. You can follow us on Twitter. You can add us on MSN Messenger. You can also check out the DJ schedule there. I do have a personal blog. I do need to get that to TFG1 Mike. Haven't yet.
Lazy son of a bitch.
Well, it's called Priorities in Life, dude. Priorities in Life. If you want to follow my personal Twitter, it is the MusicMan08, TheMusicman08. Let me know how. Huh?
Nothing.
Let me know how you got the Twitter name. And if you have any questions for me about the KR podcast, if I can definitely ask TFG1 Knucklehead over there, and we'll try to see if we can squeeze them in after the season 4, stuff, or just anything, or just random Knight Rider stuff out of, we can pull off the internet or just some type of news source.
Yep. All right, so thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Night. There's always get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where as of right now, that's the only place you're going to find the show, because I am not dealing with iTunes anymore.
iTunes.
Thank you, Dr. Claw. Email us at feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Beyond the Night is the show Twitter. Mine is TFG and Mike. You can also follow at Geekcast Radio for all the other network updates. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Beyond the Night and wish you'll join us next time, and we'll be recapping Knight Rider Classics Season 1. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Music Man 08.
KITT, close the show.
Want a nickel beer? Who's buying?
Big brother to Hot Night. We're gonna tag along, and guess what? Brusker's buying.
If that's okay. That's okay, Kirk.
Michael, the correct response in CB parlance would have been breaker, breaker, hot night to big brother. That's a big 10-4, over and out.
One man can make a difference, Michael. Michael Knight, a lone crusader in a dangerous world. The world of the Knight Rider.